Hello and good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Tonight you've been joined by myself, GB, and the Goose and Maverick of Rangers Radio. Goose, that is Port Bear. Port Bear, how we doing, mate?
Gobble. I'm good, mate. Good to be on. How you doing, Giant, mate?
Oh, you've been
good boys.
The Maverick, Giant. How we doing?
Yeah, very good, boys. Very good. Seems like a long time, doesn't it? Good to be back.
It does, and I know we're well into January, but Happy New Year to the both of you since I've not spoke to you.
And to the pair of you.
Well, we've been on our holidays and all the rest of it. We had a couple of friendlies to deal with. Port, I'll come at yourself first, mate. The guys in the gang the previous nights have kind of delved into the games, but I just kind of want your overview of the previous two friendlies, mate. What was your kind of feelings and thoughts from the two games, mate?
I suppose when you take it on the context and you put it on the whole package together, and you think when they went to Spain for the training, I get, manager was talking about double sessions for them, so out there, good climate, sun in their back. Amazing how injuries seem to clear up. You get sun in your back when you're playing better weather. So they were out there doing double sessions. So and when you get these mid-season friendlies, guys, I still have a wee mini pre-season. I try not to read much into the games. What I try and look for is, the formation. Is there any wee tweaks that we see? Is there any players that, are looking better after looking fitter after having that training camp? So that's really what I was looking for, mate. And overall, over the two games, what I saw was, there was a few wee tweaks, and we should be seeing players like the young boys got a good shout in the Copenhagen game. The Hertha Berlin game was played at walking pace, mate. But what I saw of that, so that was an absolute damn squid as well. But Copenhagen are a good outfit, mate. They beat Man United at Old Trafford. So they did in the Champions League, and they're in the Champions League every year. So it was a good wee test, but the corners, mate. That's for Achilles heel, isn't it? The corners.
Aye, mate. I agree. It was. The first game, I was actually more upset about the park, to be honest. Port, I think Clement should have took your ground staff there with him as well, and helped him with the pitches there, because, like I said, we came away with an injury. One of our squad players, and like I said, when the boys were playing on that pitch at the weekend there, it was tearing up like nobody's business. So no wonder we couldn't really see what players could actually do. Probably the overall, like the Copenhagen game, I think it was a good test, Port, on the quality. We can see how the team was trying to play, the attack was there, the press was there and stuff like that. So for me, that's what I wanted to see. But very surprised that young Ridvan got to start, considering all the talk about his transfers that's going on in the game, mate.
If you remember, I was on with yourself, mate. I was on early in January, and I mentioned to the troops, I said, look, I don't think that boy's been given a fair crack at Ibrox, mate. I don't think he's been given a run of games. He's been injured. He wasn't a European squad. So he never really got a chance to get himself going at any time. And lo and behold, since January kicked off, he's been in the team. And I think he's grown every game, mate. And I think he's getting better as he's getting fitter. And I know I was on saying, look at Josh Doig and stuff like that. That would be the guy I'd be going for if Ridvan was going. But I'm slowly but surely really thinking, why don't we just keep this lad? Because I do see massive improvement. Against Copenhagen, mate, I thought he was outstanding that first half as well. I think he's always a threat. As well as going inside, he goes outside as well. But that when he goes inside one, mate, and he turns into that inverted fullback, he gets in midfield and he goes, links up with the forward line as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him, mate. But as you said, it was interesting to see him starting, especially with the speculation around him. But I'd rather have him right now. I'd rather have him in Borna, mate.
No, I agree, mate. And you've been consistent with that, Port. You've been saying about young Ridvan being a kind of standout and stuff like that. And again, it was during these two games. JM, mate, again, just your kind of overall thoughts of the two games, mate, and the kind of training camp.
The Saturday, from the Rangers TV YouTube production to the actual performance, every Saturday was quite depressing. It was a waste of an afternoon. It was a waste of a Saturday afternoon. When it really from not knowing that, not being able to see that a manager's been sent off, to the pitch cutting up in the first few minutes. Wasn't it? It was kind of a waste of time putting it on. But like you say, if you take things in the context of the fact that, the players have been worked hard, so have been told, running hard and whatever, and it's just about maybe breaking up the training sessions for them. So it's trying not to read too much into performances, even though it's hard when you're watching it and it's pretty rotten, to be honest, especially the first half of that first friendly. But like Paul was saying, looking at the end, the main thing I take from them friendlies is the fact is it looks like he's going to stick with his 4-2-3-1 sort of as his formation, isn't he? That was both sets of 45s with different players. It didn't really change from that 4-2-3-1 formation. So that looks like it's going to be a bit of a mainstay. And I think, if you like, the other highlight, without reading into the other performances, is just how important Butland is for us at set pieces and corners. That would be my two main sort of takes if you're not going to go in too much and be overcritical, considering they're friendlies.
I'm going to just chuck in my two. I enjoyed the T1000 photograph of our manager behind that fence. and the boy that travelled all the way in his Land Rover and built a tent and sat on top of his tent watching that game in Malaga. It was brilliant, mate. Giant, I mean, Butland, what can we say about this guy? What a signing. I mean, we have said things about Beale and all the rest of it, but my God, they must have talked the backside off of Butland to get him up here, because he's fair, settled very, very quickly. And again, he's set the standards to any signing coming into Ibrox. Been totally professional for the start, and been fit and available. JMA.
Yeah, credit. I think one thing everyone must be aware now, what Michael Beale can do is talk rubbish, isn't it? And persuade people to do stuff with the two jobs he's got. but credit when sort of credit's due. Like, he's picked some good players. But yeah, Butland has been superb, hasn't he? Constantly been the one mainstay. People have been in and out and done stuff. But I think it's boring how good Jack Butland's been, and just hopefully it continues. But yeah, I think we saw the importance there just for his stature in a way. But he came out and took one in the Copenhagen friendly when he came out and got one. The guy was kind of, 20, 30 yards out, straight cross, but it was a decent ball. But the fact is, he only gets that because he's alert and ready to come and get them. I don't know, 50% or more goalkeepers aren't even looking to come out to it. But because he's ready and wanting to dominate and not scared, he's just taking so much pressure off the centre-backs with doing it.
Aye, and even in a friendly, I mean, he's no scared to go in for it, even though, like I says, it's just a friendly. That boy's, I imagine his mindset is just win every game. I mean,
yeah, his height and stature must help. Obviously, he's a big lump, isn't he? Other goalkeepers, I mean, it's harder. He knows when he comes out, he's bigger than most, which is good. But yeah, he's obviously that certain breed you need to be a goalkeeper, 100 mile an hour, and not scared or stupid, whatever you want to call it.
Paul, you got the man love for Butland as well?
He's been an immense signing. We seem to have an absolute, God-sent luck when it comes to goalkeepers. All my Rangers supporting career, I don't remember, a bad goalkeeper. I'm not going to talk about Roy Carroll and keepers like him, but we've always had right good quality goalkeepers, right back to as far as Chris Woods, Andy Gorham, Alan McGregor, Stephen Kloss, Bonnie. He's up there with all them, mate, and he's slowly but surely making himself, he's settled so well. He seems to be there for years. You can tell he's already one of the captains in the dressing room. And I'm not being super critical of Ross McCrory, but if Ross McCrory wants to be a Rangers number one, he's, in my opinion, the way what we saw, and he's never let Rangers down when he's played. But then two corners at the front post are his all day long, and Butland is taking them. He's 6'4", 6'8", fully stretched. He's taking that every time when it's punching or when it's catching. And that's something Ross is going to need to learn, because that's his ball all day long at that front post.
Aye. Jim, it could be as well that maybe Ross needs to learn the kind of organising the defence, because Butland seems to, like I says, he's not scared to shout. And I think even Golson says that the defence, even in some of the interviews he gave, he says that the defence is so much calmer when he's in the goal and that they don't really have to worry too much at the back.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately there's one thing that Ross McCrory can't sort of change, and that's his stature and his build. You know, he's a fielder. I don't know, and I think the problem is you don't see too many teams doing that sort of tactic to Butland because they know the size of him that he'll come out and do it. But unfortunately, because obviously he won't be small being a goalkeeper, Ross, but he's definitely smaller built than Butland or whatever. So it gives the attacking team, whoever, whether it be in the SPL, whatever, that option, because if they've got a couple of big lads, they know he's not going to come through them. So that's something maybe. I mean, I know he's been with us a long time now, but that's something that's got to be considered, isn't it? A bit like when McGregor was in goal, especially in like the second stage of it, because he was getting a bit older. Teams' tactics were to whip it in on top because they knew he wouldn't come for corners, and then that also puts pressure on your defenders because they know they need to go and win it. Like the young lad in the second half, and he knew he had to go and win that because he knew McCrory wasn't coming, and that's why he's maybe gone to try and header a ball where maybe he wasn't in a position to do so. So maybe something that Ross can't really affect in that teams are going to try and do that to him because it's maybe a slight weakness in his game.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. The thing where I take my hat off to the manager is he's a man of his word, right? He says he's got to give players minutes. He's brought a lot of youth into that training camp as well and gave them minutes. Even the game on Saturday and then obviously the game on Tuesday as well. He's gave folk chances to shine. I think even last night when I was listening to the press conference for the manager, he was saying that he was like happy that the boys. There's not much they made he was happy the boys made the mistake, but it's something for them to learn from, especially that kind of high level player they're playing against and stuff like that. So I think overall, like I said, it gives them a kind of platform to work from.
Well, like I've said this before, mate. Since Clement's come in, he's shown clearly there's going to be a path, and I think you take Ross McCausland as his first one. He's gave a path to. Ross was in a fortunate position where a bit of luck was involved, with injuries on that side, so he got a chance, and he takes it, mate. He takes it. So he's the manager. With youth has shown if you're good enough, you'll get picked, and I think that's a good example to take them young boys on that training camp and let them get minutes against Hertha Berlin, decent German side, in the second division, and then obviously playing against Copenhagen, a season Champions League team, mate. Because at the end of the day, that'll be the bar. That'll be what's accepted. That's what we're looking to expect for these boys, and that's the level. So you get to see where they are on that scale, and maybe some of them are just not there yet, but it's not to say they won't be. So I think everyone's timing, mate. If we can keep injury free, and we also introduce guys like Raskin that back in for injury, so these spaces are now starting to get filled up. We're not going to need youth as much as we have, but I still want. Come on, it's made it quite clear, mate. There's always going to be a chance for youth if they're good enough and they're training well.
Jai, I mean, he's putting the structures into place, and I think that's the training camp. He was able to sit down with players and have a good talk with them. He was saying that he was up to nearly 11 o'clock at night with chats and stuff like that with the team, and it's really good man management. That it gets him to know his players, who's really hungry for success and ambition and stuff like that. And I suppose that he'll see characters there that he can maybe even develop.
Yeah, it's important. And obviously when you come in, I imagine, never done it myself, but if you come in mid-season, obviously the first thing you're trying to get, especially with the injuries we had, he was just trying for the first, especially month, 6 weeks, just trying to get a squad fit enough to get out on the pitch and whatever, and not really having the opportunity to even get a chance to pick people. It was only a case of who was fit to play was going out onto the pitch, wasn't it? So like he says, it gives them the opportunity to get to know the players a bit more, see the plans, be honest with the players as well, because maybe some players didn't know where they stand, and you get the impression when you just hear players' interviews or whatever, it was something that was maybe lacking with the previous manager. There's a lot of sayings about, you hear them saying that the whole squad's involved now or whatever. It seems to be quite a consistent message, which didn't seem to be there before. So it'll be interesting to see if much changes following this in the pre-season, and if it gets better, because it can't get much better than how it's went so far.
I agree. I totally agree. Like, I think when you look at it for the time the managers came in to the training camps, where we're sitting in the league, again, all from game and stuff like that, it was just one of the days, I think, for Clement's team. And maybe another day it could have been a different result. But I would imagine our managers learned a lot from that. And the position he's sitting in now, I think he actually deserves a wee present, Port. And what I mean with that is it'd be nice to see if the board could reward him with a couple of new signings.
In regards to what the manager's done, mate, I feel the manager has got credit in the bank. So he's come in and he's lost one game in his tenure so far. He's delivered a trophy. So in the last 16 are Europa League. So he's kept his end of the bargain up, mate. And I've said it to yourself privately, I've said it to a few other mates as well, said it on here. I think this squad needs help. I think, and what I mean by that, and the level of quality, in the last 16, you need a wee bit of, a wee bit more craft, a wee bit more skill, a wee bit of higher quality we've got. Undoubtedly, our team is strong and that they play well as a unit. But it's always great to have them, they guys add that bit of, stardust to your team to take you to the next level. And I think the board have to show Clermont a bit of, just a wee bit of kudos and say, right, you've done your end of the bargain. We're going to keep your end of the bargain up and go and help the guy in this January transfer window. I think it has to happen.
Well, I'll come in on that then, Paul. When you're saying, obviously, we're talking about adding quality and whatnot, and whatever, obviously we want to add a bit of quality, but deep down, how many players in that squad at the moment? Because I saw something good on Twitter and it did make me think, actually. It's quite sad. I was sitting there looking at it when I saw the squad photo at the end of the training camp. Let's take that photo to people. How many players in that squad are you actually happy to go forward with for the rest of the season? Would you deep down actually say, I'm 100% behind him, and him? Have you got many in there? Because I can tell you now, I've not got, without sounding completely negative, there's not many that I'm buzzing with that are Rangers players and getting paid tens of thousands a week to play with us.
No, I get that, mate. But I think what we have to realise, this is not going to be done over one or two transfer windows to transform this squad into Clermont's full team. I think this could take.
I didn't ask that. I asked how many of them players are you actually sat there when they go out and they go through? Are you sitting there going, with what you've seen, not on potential either? Because there's maybe a couple could be on it, maybe a couple that have been injured. But how many you actually sat there going, yeah, I'm happy with them. They can stay with us for the rest of their contracts, 3-4 years.
No, there's not many. I agree with you, mate. There's not many. There's not many. And no. It's all for one reason or another. It's to do with injury or quality, isn't it? It's basically that's what it's doing to, and just not being good enough to beat Rangers. That's the other one. That's the three things: injuries, good enough to beat Rangers, and the quality of the actual player, the level of player we've got. That's the thing. You have to break it down, innit? And obviously, the first one you want to get off the books is your injured players. One that's costing you money and bringing absolutely nothing to the squad. So that's the ones for me that have to go first.
Jim, it's an interesting question because I do agree with you. Like when the cold light of day and you look at the squad and stuff like that. I mean, we won the trophy. We're into the last 16 of Europe and all that. But if you had to take individual players, you could still say that we could possibly go into the transfer market and hopefully upgrade certain players into that squad. You know what I mean? As Port touched on, if we clear out the injuries for me, I think that then hopefully you bring in the quality, and then the team that you've got there, as it stands now, are really good backups, if you know what I mean. Like, so, like say, I don't know.
You can't even think of a good backup in that. You're trying to think of who you like as a backup.
And again, it's the players trying to accept that kind of way that they might not be a starter. I mean, that's just the kind of team that Clermont's building, that he's saying it's a team, so they've got to accept that not everybody's got to get minutes. But I agree with you, mate, and it's hard not to disagree that there needs to be some type of upgrade. And like, folk will shoot me down for this, right? Young Ross, he's young and he's hungry and he's played some brilliant games and stuff like that. But I still think we need better. I still think we need...
I totally agree, by the way.
I've
had a few modes in private, and it's hard to say because it sounds unfashioned what we're watching, but I was at Hampden, and there's been the big games, even against the quality there. For a 20-year-old, he still looks like a child. He's 20, he's not 16. Mm-hmm. And he's got amazing quality. And he's done some good things. And he scored a couple of good, an important goal in Europe. But again, that's why I'm going through, and I'm saying at the Port, when you go through it, If someone told you he's going to be playing right midfield for the rest of the season every game, I don't know if I'm stood there going, that's amazing, we're going to win the league with that.
No. Port, you want to come in, mate? Because I think that's that between that and, like, say, if you went down the road of Ravi Matondo and that other wing, you're you're probably good, like, to come off the bench and what I say is maybe start a game, like, say, I don't know, a game away to Dundee or something like that, or like just now they kind of toughy games that we just need players to come in and stuff like that. I think there'd be really good backups and starters as and when needed, but like, see these games like the Old Firm and, like I say, big games in Europe and stuff like that, I just think there's still more needed in the squad, mate. Port, you doing a bridge, man? He's doing a bridge.
I see, it's the age, isn't it? It's the age. I'm the oldest of the eight.
Come on, you're in the young team squad.
Exactly, mate. You know, I said it 5 minutes ago. Look, the squad 100% needs help. You know, and if you look at it to what JM said, if you think of the goalkeeping situation, right? Well, Jack Butland and Ross is your backup. John McLaughlin will be out the door, so that'll be your two goalkeepers. In the back four, let's start with the back four. JM, who you keeping? Who you getting rid of? Let's get through.
Who am I happy with? And this is, and let's go for the end of the season, because then we've got another question when you're diving into is also longevity. But back four, the only two that I'd be happy with to the end of the season, we're told now that 100% is Tavernier and Goldson. The other side is still, throughout injuries and through consistency, it might be unfair on Yilmaz, he might come onto the game, but you've got to be honest and say we've not seen enough of him to say either way. So we can't say he's poor because we've not seen enough of him. He hasn't been given a chance. But I can't say it'll be a good thing if he plays every game to the end of the season either. So for me, I'd only be happy with Tavernier and Goldson out of them.
JM, I think you've started something, so I think this is a good time to open the phone lines. So give us a call.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Oh, a new jingle. I'm enjoying that. A wee bit of Blondie. Can't beat that. Port.
Aye, sorry, innit? Call me, Debbie Harry.
Call me anytime.
Aye.
Right, okay. Right, back to this point, because I want to kind of explore this a bit, because I think for me, JM's kind of highlighted something that everything is rosy in the garden, Port. We can't deny that, right? Team's doing good. If we win these two games in Holland, we're sitting 2 points behind him. I mean, and that's due to the current squad. But we just need to, I think, just keep improving. So I'll let you crack on your point about the defence.
No, what you've got to think on what JM say, you've got to think on longevity and are you getting your money's worth. Now, there's Ben Davies, £4 million we paid for him. You know, he's fit, but he's offering nothing to their squad at the moment, all Rangers as a whole. So I agree with JM there. If he's, you know, we're talking about players that maybe are not offering and aren't good enough, then we need to get these guys out of the club, because ideally, all this financial fair play stuff going about the new, and you know, sometimes a lot of teams need to clear their decks before they can start buying to keep the balance books correct. On paper, ours must look terrible because we've got a lot of players through injury and aren't good enough that Clement's not picking them, that we're hemorrhaging money that we could be
so
using
much dead money, isn't it, on players?
Yeah, mate, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Right, well, you started going through kind of bits of the squad there. So, Jai, I agree with you. Tav and Goldson, as it stands now, they're the best we've got, and they're always fit and available. So they tick the box, I suppose. Port's brought up Ben Davies. I think if we can get money for him and ship him out, then happy days. But I doubt it. So he'll be another one way to try and push in the summer, probably. Jim, you just want to expand there? We'll just stick to the defence first, and then we'll take it for there.
Yeah, for the defence, and then you've got to look at. I don't think for the season, I don't think Balogun's been bad as a backup, but the problem is through injuries or whatever, Sutton and Davies haven't stepped up, and I think at times Balogun is sort of maybe at heart sometimes showing his age. He's had some great performances, but for the end of the season, you'd keep Balogun in your squad as a backup, you'd be happy. But again, are you happy with him playing all the games? I don't know. And then when you get to the left backs, I don't know. Again, Bournemouth has some not bad games, but I think certain players have ran their race, and he's probably one of them, isn't he? I mean, fans, I mean, if you're constantly trying to improve and get better, Bournemouth's probably ran his race. So maybe him. For me, that's it. The only two mainstays in that, and maybe, and obviously at the moment, are Tavernier and Golson. Like I say, always available, and you're getting a minimum normally of a 7 to 8 out of 10, aren't you? Especially Tabby's stepped up a numerous of times, and Golson gets a lot of stick, but Jesus God, when he's not in the team.
Mm-hmm.
He's the glue. He's the glue, isn't he, guys? Golson's the glue in the defence for me. And you know, it's quite a sad indictment when you think Balogun, the age he is, and he is starting to show. I agree with you, JM, although I think he's had some quality performance this season. It's sad to think that Ben Davies and John Souttar kind of remove that guy for his position. I think that tells me everything about them two.
Well, there you go.
They're not showing that. Even when they play, they're not looking better, are they? They're not looking better. They're not.
It's sad, mate.
That's what I was going to ask you. There's John Souttar. We've not mentioned him yet. Do we still need an upgrade on him?
I think the problem is with Souttar. He looks like a player that needs games to be playing well, and he's not going to. As long as we play this system of just the four at the back, which I think we will, and as long as Golson's there, Souttar's not going to get them games in that position. I don't think he's a natural coverer, because when he comes back, he looks a bit on the ball, the passing and stuff. It always looks like he needs a couple of games to get into his stride. So I'd say yeah. Again, he hasn't had it, but I'd say yes. You've got to be fair on what you've seen. You've got to call up what you've seen, and I'd say yes, we do.
That's the thing, Port, and JM, and I just want to make it clear to the listeners and stuff like, we are not criticising this team. This team's doing brilliant now, right? That we are where we need to be in all kind of competitions and stuff like that. So, status quo. If they continue on, then it's good. But all we're doing is looking at positions and trying to critique where is, if we're wanting to lift silverware in leagues, where can we improve? So. Right, so we've kind of covered the defence. I think we kind of know. Maybe we'll need to find out about Ridvan soon enough. But if Ridvan stays, I'm quite happy with that. Port and JM, you agree?
I do.
Yeah, he needs to be given a chance, doesn't he? I think the thing is, what I'm saying is, who would you be? Are you happy to say, you're comfortable with him playing every game? But there's no one's shouting here saying Ridvan needs to be sold. The boy hasn't had a chance for a consistent run of games.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Right, right. Let's go on to the midfield then. Right, so Raskin's back. Raskin, good quality, good level that we want to have in that kind of position.
I'm happy with Raskin. I personally would like to see Raskin be a mainstay, mate. I think he's got quality. I've seen enough of him in his first sort of half of the season, and last season as well. I've seen enough of him to suggest that he's got a good future in the game, mate. So I would definitely keep Raskin.
I would just go, Port, you did mention injuries and players that are constantly getting injured. I don't think Raskin's record's very good, is it? For a young boy.
I get that for his age, but he had one injury just basically at the beginning of this season, didn't he? The tail end of last season.
And didn't it take him months to get fit for us when he started?
It did, mate. It did, yeah.
But so that's 2 years out of 4.
Yeah.
Been available for not a lot yet, has he?
No, we've not. I don't think we've seen the best of him, JM. I definitely think we've seen the best of Nicholas Raskin. I think there's more to come for this young man. I really do. I think he's definitely, what for games I've saw him and the time when he's been in the team and consistently having weeks running in the team, I thought he looked, a very good player.
He's had some great games in Europe and that, hasn't he? Especially in Europe when it's been breaking up and whatever. I think it's similar, maybe on a slightly better scale because we've seen a bit more of him. But I think it's similar to Ridvan. It'd be great to see him playing for 6 months or whatever months are left, 4 or 5 months, half the season, and seeing what he can actually do on a consistent basis.
That would help him definitely, mate. All the players that we're talking about, like Ridvan, who we've not seen enough of, until they get a consistent run, foot injury, and a consistent run of the team, I think we should try to see JM in it. That's what we're going to see what we've really got. We've not really seen 100% of Ridvan, 100% of Raskin, because we've not through injury or whatever it's been. No, I agree with you, Giant, definitely, mate.
Raskin as well, Port, he's not had the time with Clement yet. Clement's not had that kind of time with him because he has been, like you say, injured and stuff like that. So I think he ticks a box to keep the new, because we know he has got some quality about him, and it'd be hard to find that. That's the thing that I think we need to remember as well. The way the market is and the way we shop and stuff like that, we've got to. It's very hard. If we had to say we had to go out and get a Raskin out there, I mean, it'd be very hard for us to go and spend that kind of money to get a ready-made player like that, I mean, so, aye, for me, he ticks the box. We'll go on to big boy Sterling, since he's been playing kind of that place, Sterling, for me, 100%. He's the quality that we're needing on that park.
It's the quality and the physicality and everything that you need for that league, isn't it? Is at the moment, again, you don't want to fall in the category of getting carried away, do you? But there's no reason not to be excited. He's been immense, hasn't he? He's been immense.
Yeah, it shows that quality, JM, at a Premier League standard for me. So, aye, 100%. Port, your input on him, mate?
Aye, tailor-made for the league. He's physical and he's proven now he's versatile. He can play left back, right back. He probably was slot at centre back if needed be. But we've unearthed the find of the season when we put him in the midfield. So I would personally try and keep him there and just get him to hone his skills for that position. And Oxia mentioned on the show one night, this could be the unearthing another Fernando Rickson, and I hope he's right.
Well said. Right, that was an easy tick of a box, that one. Right, we'll go on to Cifuentes. Now, I quote, "This guy was meant to take us to the next level from a previous manager." That's what he said. This guy's got to come in and take us to the next level. I'll pass that to Port Bear, mate. You go first.
£8 million he was valued at as well, mate. Can I add that as well? So £8 million, going to take Rangers to the next level, and I wouldn't give £8 for him for what I've saw so far. And that's been brutally honest. He's not shown nothing in the Scottish League. Even the games he played in Europe, still not seen nothing. Don't understand what kind of midfielder he is yet. Is he a holder? Is he a number 6? Is he a number 8 that goes box to box? I can't understand what his position is. I know he's a midfielder, but I don't understand what sort of midfielder he is, mate. I'm baffled by it. And why is Clement not giving him a chance? Is he saying the same things that we are saying? We can't work with what this guy does and what he offers. I know that's pretty blunt, but I can only say what I'm seeing, mate. Before
I bring JM in, my take on it is that the boy doesn't seem to be up to speed with the Scottish League. He's shown flashes at times, Port. I mean, he has had some good games, but there's been times where I've even heard, like, says Ox on talking about him, I think in some of the European games, that he's just totally falls out the game. JM, your thoughts, mate, on him?
Yeah, how do I say it? He's not had any good games, but he has had plenty of shocking games, hasn't he? He's had plenty of shocking games. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? He's had some of what he's not had. I don't think you can say he's had a 90 minutes, but I mean, I've never seen. I think away at PSV, that might have been the worst performance of a player. That was never, and also sums up that manager that he stayed on the pitch for so long as well. I've never seen somebody so off the pace in a game of football than he was. But again, we saying that, what am I highlighting? One good pass to Dessers away. Who was that? I forgot. It was that long ago. We've knocked them out of Europe. I forgot where they were. But one good pass at Betis. What away at Real Betis, wasn't it? That pass he played, it was he played through, and that's been it. And really, like you say, I think you covered it. He's taken maybe too long, or he might do, but he just doesn't seem up to pace with the pace of the game in Scotland, does he? He doesn't look like he's getting to it. He's getting caught on the ball a lot. I think you can see what he tries to play. He tries to play some. They don't always come up, but he does try and play a forward pass. You can see he tries it. He tries to play people through. He does attempt them. That seems to be maybe his game a little bit, but it's not worked for him yet, has it, so far? I don't think it's not quite worked out for him for whatever reason yet. Hopefully it does, because we've just signed him and I think we're going to be stuck with him, but it'll be interesting what Clement does, but it'd be a no from me for now.
I think the where I'm probably sitting with is the jury's still out, because the boy has, I suppose, I think he played a full season before he came to us, didn't he? He was already, he'd played a full season, then he joined us and started into another season. So, jury's out for me, Port. I think that's where we tick that box, sir.
I think that's fair, mate. You know, we've not been, I think we've bashed them, but, you know, hopefully there's more to come, mate. But as I said, I just can't work out what his best position is yet.
Well said. Right, we move on. Our favourite from Leeds is Ryan Jack. Port Bear.
I'm afraid it's time to go, mate. These are the ones that I'm saying that we need to try and get these guys out the door to try and reinvest their wages to get new players in. I understand people have an argument that, you know, we need to keep some senior players in the squad, maybe guys like Ryan Jack, to get the newer players settle, younger players settle, etc. But it's on paper, as I said, Gary, it must look shocking to our balance sheets that there's so many players that are offering nothing and taking a wage out of the club.
That's fair, mate. Like I says, when he's fit and available, he's a good contributor. But unfortunately, like I says, we need players fit and available to be able to challenge. And like I says, in the big games, like I says, if you've got a fit Ryan Jack in an all-firm game, I think it helps the squad tenfold. But when the guy's constantly out injured, then he's not really helping the team for me, JM.
No, if he wasn't Scottish, I don't think he would have been with us this year, would he? I think we had to tick a box in some aspects, but won't get carried away, get slaughtered. But it's been making a mockery of us for a little while, hasn't he? We seem to be keeping him fit for Scotland or trying to get him in the squad for 2 years, and it's not really been on, has it? Like you say, when he plays, he's good. And when Clement came in, it was him and Lundstrom won it. And I don't think ideally he maybe would have played as many games as he did in a row because of his fitness. And he did show, he's good. But that's all well and good, isn't it? But we play 50 to 60 games a season, hopefully all being well. And it's not good enough for us, is it? As good as he is in it, it's a shame. But no, it's that ship's sailed now, isn't it? He needs to be. I definitely don't think he'll be with us next year.
Can I just throw in as well, guys? The allegiance part of Scotland for me, we pay his wages. I think you get a decision to make there as well, because I don't think you can do both. You can't get national football.
I know we can't. You shouldn't officially tell them what you can't, and you can't really. But I think someone should have been telling them straight. And that
me too.
I know you can't and whatever, and people say how can you stop someone whatever. But like you say, we're paying his wages, and it's a mockery, really, isn't
it? Yeah.
No, I agree. I think even when they were talking about that deal last year, that it should have been said to him, like, we need you for Rangers if we're signing this deal. We can't be playing for Scotland. And I get, obviously, like I says, they're going into Scotland's made it to a tournament, but it's end of the day, Rangers come first, like you says. Wages come for Rangers. I get
it if he was a starter, guys. I get it if he was a starter. See, he was a first team starter for Scotland and he was fit and coming back to Rangers and fit and starting our team. He's not a first team starter for Scotland, so why go? He's sitting on the bench, a wee jolly, and get injured in your first run you do in training. Nah, not good enough for me, mate. I'm sorry.
One of the boys just texted us there, a boy that did get a chance there. There was Leon King. What are we thinking about him now?
Leon King, definitely not a centre back for me, mate. I've said this on a show for about 3 years. Definitely not a centre back. I think his best position could probably be a holding or midfield, but again, not seen enough of him. And for a boy that was so highly thought of at Rangers, just doesn't seem to be taking that next step, guys. He got into this first team squad, and he just doesn't seem, he hasn't pushed on since then, and that sort of worries me a wee bit, because why is he not pushed on? So the jury's out, mate. Again, best thing for that young man, go on loan and play games. Go out on loan and play first team games for somebody in Scotland, Championship, whatever it may be, but he needs to go out and get games and build his career again, mate, because to me it's stalled.
He's another one that's come through this system and he's not and he's not built, is he? They're not, McCausland's not, that he's 20. I mean, King's older. I get when he came in, he was young, but these boys are adults and they're not, they don't look ready for football, especially Scottish football. they don't.
No, Jim, I think that's where, like Clement says, he's got his eyes on everything. I think that's his way. I seen that there was a new appointment as well, went to the kind of academy. I can't remember the guy's name, but I seen that he's got to kind of oversee the transition into the academy to first team and stuff like that. And then you've obviously got the boys part of our first team coaching staff that's overseeing the kind of anybody that's worthwhile that can get in. I think Clement's going to look at all that and try and improve, like you say, so that when they are coming to the first team that they're built and ready. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I think young McCausland, given another kind of come the summer and stuff like that, I think Clement will have him beefed up. He'll turn into probably the same as what happened to Hadji. I think Hadji was dead skinny and stuff like that, and then the following summer he came back and he was built like a, I can't say it on here, but like a something hoose. So King, for me, Port, 100% agree, mate. I think the boy needs to go out and loan. I wouldn't get rid because he has shown at times where he's battled and stuff like that for the shirt and stuff, and he's came in at a right hard time when we with Gio and stuff like that. So I wouldn't want to just see him go. I think like it says, you need some Rangers blood kicking about in there. So for me, it's got to be a loan. But if he's just got to make up the numbers for me, JM, then again, I don't see the point in it. I would rather Clement uses a boy like Leon King's position and money that's maybe getting paid out on, and we go and reinvest that into, I don't know, either the same position or something else into the first team.
I guess there's the and where I wouldn't know the technicalities. I've only read a little bit of it, but I think we got caught out this year, isn't it, with the homegrown element as well? I think that's another thing we need to watch in Europe. I think we got caught out this year, didn't we? We ended up a bit light on the bench because we didn't have enough. So that's something to take into account. But I agree, if you're taking all these sort of rules out of the way, he's at that age where he needs to be playing to prove a point. And obviously it's not easy to get into a Rangers team. So maybe, like you say, a loan's the best option to see if he can do it. But obviously we've got to take this homegrown into account, I think, for Europe.
Yeah. What you've got to watch as well, guys, if you look at, is he thinking about his own development? Because you look at Lewis Mayo, who's went to Kilmarnock, and any time I've seen that Lewis Mayo playing, he was a youth player, maybe a year in front of Leon King in development terms. Lewis went out, mainstay of the Kilmarnock team. They're playing well. He did some great games against some of the top teams in the league. And he's kicked on. And this is the thing that worries me when players are coming through development from youth into the first team. Why is his development stopped? Because it looks like it's stopped to me, guys. That's my concern. And why is he not knocking the manager's door, doing the asking for a loan to say, look, I need to go and play. I'm not going to get a chance here. I want to go and play. I know people will say, but he's training Mark with quality players every day. That's all good and well, but you need to go out and play games.
Well, you look at our very own Alan McGregor. Port, I mean, when he was under Will Smith and stuff like that, he went away out and on loan multiple times and was playing against men and all the rest of it. And he's in squads like Dunfermline and all that. And it says that I imagine that helps you grow up pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Playing the kind of games and stuff like that, and you get experience, and then you can come back to a team like Rangers and be ready to go in and take a shot. You know what I mean? I think a lot of youth really need to look at that. I wonder why our club don't date more, like just filter out a lot of our academy. Because, see, to be honest, Port, for me, I don't get why we as an academy just go for friendlies with another B team. Maybe like, I don't know, a Benfica B team or something like that. They go and play, and I don't honestly see the point in that. I know that maybe technical stuff gets developed and all that, but I'd much rather them be involved in teams that they're fighting for 3 points. You know what I mean?
Competitive games, mate. 100%.
Aye. Right. Well, it's +9, Port. I think we need to get some calls in. We were talking about this. There's a good topic here tonight, and it would be good to know what other people think. Are they quite happy with the squad, or do are they like us, that we feel as though that this transfer window we just need to kind of improve a wee bit in certain positions to kick his own, Port, to get the titles?
That's exactly what I'm looking for, mate. I'm just looking for players to come in that are going to hit the ground running and just push that squad on another 30-40%. Just lift the squad and just give them a hand, mate. And as I said, the quality has to be better than we've got. That's all I'm asking for. That's not much, in my opinion.
Well, Port, get ready. Here comes Blondie. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Oh, I'm really enjoying that, Port. Right, moving on to a controversial one, I think, with the support. Mr. John Lundstrom. Take it away, Port.
On current form and what it seems to me to our manager, I'd give him a 2-year deal, mate. I would keep him. So I think he's a senior player. He's one of the captains in the dressing room. I think he's under Clement again. He's offered absolutely everything. He's fit. You know, he does his job he does for our team at times is quite unselfish. But a 2-year deal for me, mate. We keep him.
I agree, mate. I think, again, the way I look at it, mate, is just the market that we shop in for transfers and stuff like that. I think it would be hard for us to go out and get a guy that experience, knows let's face it, he knows the league now. He knows what's expected to play for Rangers. Clement came in, fresh eyes, and seen something in Lundstrom as well. So for me, he's a tick in the box. I would keep JM.
No.
Right, tell us. Let's go for it. Give us a JM.
Just starts playing well when he's playing for a job. Do you know what I mean? I just can't. No. I've seen, as in, he done a good run with Gio in Europe, but I think it's hard to put into words why not. But I think if you're looking to improve and move forward and get better, I get your point that it happens sometimes, doesn't it? You let players go and you find yourself spending more to replace him, and it gets silly sometimes. But I think we can improve on him, especially. He gets the reputation of big bad John and that, and especially in the Old Firm game, someone might be able to put, but I've not seen him have many good games in the big games where it sort of matters. And I think when we're playing badly a lot of it, especially at the start of Bill, it's when he gets on the ball too much and he starts to think he's a bit of a player. And I think we can improve.
JM, will take this point to Port. Where I agree with JM is that we're in a position with Lundstrom where we can let him go and we can easily reinvest his wages and money and stuff like that. Whereas there's other players in that squad that we probably want out the door, but we're stuck with them, if you mean. So if there's a chance now to kind of improve that position with no cost to us, basically, then probably Lundstrom's one of the ones, isn't he?
But remember what I said the last time I was on the show with you, mate, and we've spoken about it, together as well. We said if an offer of 2.5 or even 2 come in over this transfer window for John Lundstrom, we would let him go. It's the last 6 years contract. Of course you would. You let him go a day long.
I've just looked there. Sorry, Portland. I've just looked there, as in, and I'm getting an idea. We got Lundstrom's 29. I think what's the date? He'll be 30 by the end of the season. He's not looking for a 2-year deal. He's looking for a minimum 3-4-year deal. We've got to learn from mistakes. And maybe mistakes with some current player, but we've done that one for reason. We want it to improve. We can't give John Lundstrom a 3-4-year deal.
No, I agree. That's what I said too, mate. And
but we've got to accept. He's not going to want a 2-year deal, is he?
Well, you take it, you leave it, don't you? That's the option you give him, mate. You take it or leave it, mate. You have to be ruthless. But what I was going to add to that was, how much would it take to replace a player that's got as much influence in in a team. What we've got to remember is we've got to try and keep some continuity. We can't just get shot at everybody. Some people have got to stay. Some people need to be offered contracts to stay to keep the continuity of the team going, consistency of the team going, especially when you're establishing newer players. But you add to that, how much it's going to cost to get other midfielders into the team. It's not just going to be free transfers.
My response to that would be, is it possibly influencing the team that I think everyone would agree, apart from a run in Europe with 55, that overall is possibly underachieved? So is it a good influence? Just because he's a character and lights, is that a good influence? Because
no, it's not.
If we like as a whole, as fans, I think we'd all agree we don't think we've definitely not won enough, have we? In the few years.
Oh no, that's a fact, mate.
That's a fact. So is it a good influence? Not saying he's a pro, as in that's just, but we're saying we're looking to change things, aren't we? And changing things sometimes it could be sometimes I don't see it as too radical, but radical changes like that might be taking a couple of so-called leaders out the side, whether it is Jack and Lundstrom.
Yeah, I think if you think on value for money, we got him in a free. We're not shopping in a market at the moment where we're going and spending 4 and 5 millions and 6 millions in midfielders. We're just not doing it. So I think I'm not giving him a pass, but because we paid nothing for him and it's only wages, and he did a cracking sign on for you, I dare say as well. So I think value for money, I think he's done all right.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a complete no of a sign, is it? It's not a fail.
Yeah.
No, and he's usually fit and available. That's where I'll give him a big tick of the box. I mean, like it's I'm the same as you. Like I says, I think if we had somebody lined up that we could replace in there and it was going to enhance that midfield now, then I would take it. But I just think that it's not down to the contract. I think that's maybe why the contract's getting held up in both parties. I agree with you, Port. I think it's maybe, like I say, something like a 2-year or possibly with an option a free. And JM, I think you're right. Lundstrom's probably looking at it that he's at an age where this could be the kind of the final big one, and he's wanting to have that kind of security. So he'll probably be pushing for the 4. You know what I mean? So again, we'll know in the summer. I think this is what's going to happen. It'll roll into the summer and then we'll hear about it. I mean, I think that because the manager's even said that, he says it's easier to do things in the summer. So we'll park Lundstrom now. I think, like I says, he's one of the ones that causes a wee bit of controversy with the fans. And like I says, as it stands now, he's doing a good job for me. So we keep him to the end of the season at least. Right, where are we? Tom Lawrence. JM, you take that one.
It's hard to know what to say. And really, he's not been played. Again, he's obviously not been a good. If we're going for the Port, it was a free, wasn't he? But he's not been. He was a free, wasn't he? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
So in that, it's not been. But we were paying him, and unfortunately, got nothing out of him, have we? Started that first season, a good goal at Easter Road, played one in Europe, scored that dodgy free kick against PSV. But we don't. What can you say? It's hard to say, isn't it? It looks like if you can get him fit and consistent, but we've not had anything out of him, have we? We've not had anything out of him. If you could shift him now and get somebody in that, again, not all guarantees, but could be injury free, then you'd have to, wouldn't you? Because unfortunately, he didn't have an injury record before he came to us, but since he's been with us, he's been made of glass, hasn't he?
I think that's where I'm at, JM. I think the worry is now that we've got him now, and forevermore the boy's just going to have either problems with that ankle or whatever. I hope it's not the case, because to be honest, the times that he came in for Clermont there, he was starting to pick up the pace again. He was starting to kind of see the passes and stuff like that. I think even it was a muddle. He played some lovely passes through and stuff like that. So, and you've touched on the PSV game. I was there that night watching him, and he was a standout player in amongst that Champions League game. So, I mean, for me, I would probably tick the box now, since we've got him probably on I think he's on a decent contract. So I would roll the dice with him and keep him now. Port?
I don't doubt his quality, Gary. I do not doubt Tom Lawrence's quality. Seen enough of him when he played for Derby, the Championship, that he's undoubted quality. Great cut ball carrier, great shot, two-footed. But like J.M. said, since he's came to Rangers, he's made of glass. And sometimes I ask the question, how injured are they? That's an example, a wee calf strain, and he's out for like 6 weeks with a calf strain. You're like, you're just back. What's going on? Sometimes I'm shouting ball quite a lot at TV at this age, and I think sometimes I'm like, get up and get on with it. Just how injured can you be? Because as you know, I played the game and had many injuries, but I still always wanted to play the following week. And I know this is their profession and it's their game, and they're paid handsomely for it, but how often are we going to let these guys continue to break down and all for nothing? This is the bit that's really getting to me, and I said it at the start. These guys on their balance books and their sheets, it must look terrible. Big wages, and we're getting no return for them.
Yep. Just cut across these. I think we've been joined by James for Tennessee. Are you there, James?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, mate. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to yourself. And who's on the programme?
Well, we've got the young Port and we've got the young JM.
JM. I know Port. I don't know JM, but hello, JM.
JM's the young buck. He's came in to terrorise Rangers Radio the night with his question.
Right. I've got a few points for you. First of all, we'll start with Cifuentes, Ecuadorian. Now, when I first came to America, it took me a couple of years to settle in to America. With the culture's different. Even my son got injured at the football, broke his nose. I'm going to go into that part, but there's a lot of paperwork trying to get information from hospitals, and there's a procedure. So I think any new player must get a good rundown from the coach. That would Beale. You're coming to a different country. They're more physical. They play the long ball. You're not. It's not like the MLS. They don't play the long ball. Even any American team plays passing. I go and play myself, and we play passing. There's very not many long balls, so it's a different culture, different way of playing. So sometimes I think Cifuentes might be the culture shock, or maybe his wife or partner doesn't like the area. I've said this before. Some players, it's not about the football, it's just don't like where they are. And so that's one point. I don't know how you feel about
that. We'll try and just... We'll take a wee bit of the new, mate, because we're just nearly at the time for the tune, yeah. and Fox will tune my ear off if we're late for it. So the Cifuentes, JM, just quickly before the tune goes, mate. I think we kind of touched on it. We know there's qualities there that he has brought for the MLS, but I says the Scottish League's a hard league to produce in, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Everyone deserves a bit of time, especially when you're adapting like that and come to a season. But I think in a perfect world, he's definitely taken longer than he should have done. Maybe been unlucky that we've not been able to bed him in because obviously we've had injuries and maybe he's been thrown in the deep end a little bit. But I think what's worrying is he's not showing, He's showing more of that he's not up to the pace than showing more signs of improving, isn't he? There's not been a steady improvement where you can see he's getting better every 2-3 weeks or whatever. That would be my only concern.
Okay. But you don't think... I can tell you just now, he's not putting his heart and soul into the game. When the games I've watched him, he looks kind of all pass the ball, stand around. He's not taking on players. He's not showing real enthusiasm, and that tells me he's not happy. You know what I mean? It tells me he's not happy with the situation, because I think he's a good player, but he might not be suited for the Scottish game. Yep. But I've got a few other points. Can I stay on or what?
Of course, mate. Of course. Let's just sit back and enjoy the tune. Everybody go on mute, and we'll talk after the tune, right?
Okay.
Cheers.
Oh, every other Saturday's my half day off, and it's off to the match I go. Happily we wandered down the Copeland Road, me and my wee pal Joe. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, we love to see them cry. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. We've won the Scottish League almost every time the League Cups assemble too. We get some exhibitions in the Scottish Cup. We are the cup winners too. And when the Rangers win the European Cup, as we've done with the one before, we'll gather round the Ibrox 50,000 strong to give the boys an Ibrox roar. Me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, we love to see them cry. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Me, oh, me, oh, me, oh, my. Oh, we love to see them cry. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, just quickly, just a couple of wee shout-outs to folk that constantly support the show, constantly try and help the show as well. So, young Luke, again, thanks for all the messages, mate. Much appreciated all the support to the show. Jimmy Duff, always out there driving on the busy snowy roads and listening to Rangers Radio. Your Cammy as well, again, thanks for all the help, mate. Paul McGregor as well, mate. Again, just thanks for all your inputs. Right, back to it. James for Tennessee, mate. Just to finish up on Cifuentes, I think me, Port and JM, we did say that the kind of jury's out. Well, that says we'll come on to time to kind of bed him in, because the boy is, I think, on a decent contract, and that says time will tell with him, I think, James. So, what's your next points, bud?
Right, just as Cifuentes, if I was the manager, I would say to him, look, you need to move. You need to start being enthusiastic about the game and show what you got. Is there any problems you've got being here? Okay, so that's that one. Also, it comes back to as well other players that we've had, like Philip Hollander, who was injury prone, and they targeted him. Scottish players target other players. They try and put the boot in. And we need players, I've said this for years, we need players to stand up to these guys and give it to them back, and going out and say, well, you're going to play like that, we'll play the same way against you. You go out and get 4 yellow cards against them, and we'll bring some other guys on if you're going to be like that. You know what I mean? Enough's enough. Like Philip Hollander, was 2 years he was injured all the time, and he wanted out of it, and that's why he went. He just waited, and now he's playing in a league that's not as physical. But the referees have got a big problem, because going back to the Motherwell game versus Rangers, it was a semi-final that one of our players, a Spanish guy, got his nose broken, and that's a bad injury, because my son's had that, and it affects you, and it's costly as well. So I think we've got to stand up. We've got to get players to stand up against these guys. And there's too much niceness with the Rangers. I've said this before. And I've got a player called, from Malmo, Isaac Tellin, which is 31. You're going to say, oh, he's too old. But if you said to him, come for us for 2 years, after a year, we might let you go. as long as you win as a league. Let's be honest with people. But I would go for Shanklin because Shanklin can handle himself, and I would go for him because he can handle these guys and put the boot in them. Sorry, I'm not being aggressive, but I'm just saying that sometimes we're too soft. We need players that will stand up, and we're losing money like Hollander. We could have said to him, somebody could have said after a year, do you want to go home and we'll try and get some money off you? Why do they not negotiate all these players that want out and say, we want to make some money on you? And then the Rangers never tell us that, or they never inform us. They don't communicate with the supporters.
No, I mean, I think there's just certain things that's obviously got to be private and confidential, James. I think there is stuff that says, I think Clermont's no shying away for the injury side of things. He's on top of that. He's trying to get that fixed and sorted because he knows. I think he even said that himself, that any other squad that he's been in, he's had nearly a 90% fit and available team throughout a season. So, James makes some good points there.
Yeah, I think his point about the physicality is a good one, especially standing up for ourselves. I think we've got to do that, but not doing it just out, but not in a petulant way. Maybe that sort of, maybe someone like Cantwell does it. It needs to be in sort of a harder way that maybe a Lundstrom or a Raskin does it. But then you've got to look at, I mean, I watched the game, was it Hampden for the final? Lundstrom makes one foul, but Shinnie's allowed to make however many fouls he makes in that game. So you've got to look at that aspect. We don't seem to be allowed to make as many fouls as other teams. And then his point on Shanklin, I agree with as well, and especially, and I know it's about another player, but the age of players. I know we've got to have a sort of model where we're trying to look to bring players in to sell them on because we can't buy players. But I think we've overlooked in the past with some younger players, buying players that already know how to play in the league and done it, and they've gone on and done really well at other teams, excelled. And also someone like, let's not go around and look, let's get Shanklin in and try and win the league when we know he can score goals.
Yeah, what do you think, Port Bear?
In regards to Shanklin, I'll go with him first. I think it's a no-brainer. I think he knows the league, scores goals, he'll guarantee Hearts third position in the league, but he could also guarantee Rangers winning the league. So I think Rangers stop messing about, and I know Hearts are going to ask for decent money for them, even more so if he signs that contract. But like I said before on here, if we can unsettle them, and I don't mind unsettling players, I don't care about any other team apart from Rangers. So unsettle them, get them moved, let's get down and dirty. Let's go just get them, unsettle them, and make no doubt he'll want to come to Rangers, no doubt about it. So just go, stop messing about, and just go and get the guy.
Okay.
James, are you want to join in the wee game that we were playing there, going through the squad and tick box and moving on kind of thing? You want to continue that? Right. So I think we finished off in Lundstrom because he was a controversial one. We'll go. No, it was Tom Lawrence actually. We'll move on to Todd Cantwell. He's another controversial one. I'll go to yourself, James, for that one first.
Well, people have said before, he hangs on to the ball too much. He attracts the fouls. I've saw a lot of players, they hang on to the ball and try to beat people where just pass and move. Make it easier for yourself and you'll not get injured that way. Because he's target people, they'll just tackle him and then he'll get upset. So you should start passing and moving and shows what he can do, that type of player. And I would keep him if he can do that, but he just needs to do that because he's coming into the middle of the park and trying to beat two guys and just pass and move up the field.
Well said. Port Bear? Doing a bridge, Port. Jay, mate. No, he's there. He's all right.
I mean, he's definitely a player that splits opinion, and what really annoys probably most people about him is all this petulance, all this arm throwing and, stupid fouls he gives away when does he really need to get involved. It's already clear that they foul him a lot And that's the reason he gets filled a lot, is because he's a quality player. And that's how they're trying to stop him. But what he should be doing is he should be just using that. It's only my opinion, but he should be using that to wind them up further. Just let him keep fouling. They'll eventually get carded, they'll eventually get sent off. But I think he has to concentrate more, guys, on his game going forward and being that guy that was a link-up man, getting assists and getting goals, and stop this wee girly act with his hairband in and throwing his arms up there and, you know, acting like a petulant child at times. And that annoys me. I just think he's concentrating, getting the ball, running with the ball, isolating players, taking players on, making assists and scoring goals. That's the first what we had with Todd Captain when he first came to the club. He just seems to have turned into a bit of a moaner, and I don't like that. But I would keep him.
JM?
The short answer is I would keep him, but there has not been, I don't think there's been a player that's annoyed me more in recent times than him, and that's because of his potential. I mean, when you look for his output and that, but just for the reasons that Port and James has said there, he's been frustrating recently, especially since the start of this season. Something's definitely changed. They've not got the same attitude. The walk now can be instructions, but the walking when losing the ball, the way he's losing the ball. I know it was a friendly on just then on Tuesday night, but one that highlighted it to me. I don't know if you remember it. Second half, he was in the corner. All he had to do was give the ball to Silva, a little pass. But he was that worried about moaning about the player that was on his back, and he fell over. We ended up getting no foul, and they walked away with the ball. And I thought that summed up perfectly how Cantwell's been recently. And I just thought he's frustrating me. I would keep him, but I also think we've got a player out on loan that would have produced better numbers than Todd Cantwell has this season.
Who's that?
Haji.
Oh, I think again he'll be one that'll get looked at from the summer, I would imagine. For me, Cantwell as it stands to now, I would keep him. I don't think it'll be very hard push to try and get somebody that's got quality like him and on a free. You know what I mean? So,
He's only frustrating because of the potential he's got, isn't it?
Yeah.
People have seen glimpses of what he can do. And all everyone wants him to do is to get somewhere close to it. I don't think he's been close to it this year consistently, has he?
Well, last year, 2022-23, after 16 matches, he had 6 goals and 4 assists. And this year, he's had 16 again, 2 goals, 3 assists. 5 yellow cards last year, 4 yellow cards this year. So the output's halved.
I think as well, we need to give him a wee bit of slack in the sense that the team has been very, like, injuries in that kind of department's been. He's been playing with different players nearly every bloody week. You know what I mean? I know that's no excuse, but like I say, he's either been a 10, he's either been back in midfield. The other night, I think Tuesday as well, at times he was playing in like a false 9. Like he was the one that was like the striker up front. It was Silva and all that was playing the other side of him. So I think for Todd, I think he needs to get a settled position. That's when he's at his best. I think when he knows where he needs to be and all that. I think like Clement's at times played him in positions and then like say that time when he took him off, he was saying, "Oh, he was the following instruction." I don't know. Like sometimes you just have to kind of, for me, bend the rules with a player like Todd Cantwell. You've got to kind of help him be the best he is. If you know what I mean, I know it's about a team game, but I don't know. We're not in a position where we can just go and pick up technically gifted players all the time. And I think he is one that can be a game changer at times. I think where JM, you touched on it, is that he's a frustrating player, but when he's on it, he's on it.
Yeah, he's just not been because he's just not been on it maybe this season yet, has he? Because good goal at Motherwell and in different things, but he went missing, didn't he, in the Old Firm game? A couple did, but he went missing, didn't he? It was bad. And this is where, is he going to be a guy that's going to be a show pony? And when we're playing teams at Ibrox, we need people that are going to, that's where he's going to need a kick on if he's going to be a top class player or just a talent, isn't it?
Yeah. No. James, definitely a keep then for you then as well.
Yes, the thing is, some players after 30 minutes might have thrown a bottle down, a plastic bottle, or kicked something. So that was good that he kind of followed the coach, and if he wants, so that was a good point, because the coach is the guy that's in charge, and you've got to follow him. So I was pleased at that, because some players would have lost it, because he is a good player. So he's maybe learned from that, and if he just learns to pass and move, you'll not get so many tackles and all that. So, and give the ball quickly, and that's what you need to do. 1, 2, 3 pass, it's a goal. The more touches you take, the more chance the other team will get back. If you play free-flowing football to get the ball fast to other players, you don't need to run with the ball. Let the ball do the work.
Yep, well said. Right, Bruce, before we move on to the next player, it is a phone-in show. We want the Bears to come in and give their opinion on what we're talking about tonight, or anything else that's troubling them about Rangers. So, like I says, give us a wee call, 0141 356 1972. Come and join us. Like I says, give us your opinion on all things Rangers. Next player, Scott Wright. Port, I'll go to you first. You know my feelings on the boy.
No. You can start this one.
Scott Wright. For me, please hurry up and leave Glasgow Rangers. You're an absolute competition prize winner in that squad for me. I just he's an empty jersey for me. And if there's ever a player that's been lucky to be in European finals and all the rest of it, oh my God. Anyway, right, he's a no for me. He's got to move on. Port Bear.
I can't disagree, mate. I can't disagree. He's not the quality, and I don't even think he's a quality as a squad player. Somebody put a pretty interesting comment in the chat the other night that he looks like somebody that's won £100 prize to play with their favourite team. That's what it looks like, mate, to me. He's definitely not in quality.
Aye. I seen another comment as well there that he makes the team photo look good, so he ticks that box, I suppose. JM, your thoughts, Scott Wright?
We couldn't give him away, could he? He was on the plane, he was gone, and then the next minute he was back. He was doing interviews. It was ridiculous, wasn't it? He was gone. We thought we'd got rid. He's not, like you say. He's not even a Scott. He's got this habit, and again, I think it's hard. It can't be that he's a professional footballer. He's got to, but he's got this knack of looking completely uninterested as well, hasn't he? When he comes on, which I don't understand how he keeps getting given game time. He doesn't look like he wants to tackle. Does very limited stuff on the ball. Scored a goal against Hearts, but no, he's not even at the squad player level anymore, is he?
No, I Port made a good point there that he isn't. He's not the Rangers squad player level. I mean, if we're pulling a guy off the bench, we're wanting somebody to come in and at least make some sort of an impact against a Dundee, a Livingston, something like that. You know what I mean? That's just, if we're having a sticky game, you're wanting somebody to come in and contribute to the game. But for me, no, Scott Wright doesn't.
He even managed to get himself sent off without making a tackle once, didn't he?
Yeah, they did that. James for Tennessee, come in on Scott Wright.
Well, Scott Wright, I always wear with pride my Rangers Winners' Cup final because he scored one of the goals. So I always respect him for that. And I always think of sometimes we give players too much a hard. Okay, we want to win the game, but he's been not bad. He's not a fantastic player. I would actually, it's time for him to go, but I'll always remember him for that. And he seems a decent enough person, and sometimes we can be critical, because I always remember that I played in a game and I was against this team, and the goalkeeper said to the guy that was marking me, watch him. And the guy basically said I was rubbish. And that upset me. I didn't shake hands with the guy after the game, pushed him away, because he didn't show respect. And you've got to respect players, any players, and sometimes we're a wee bit too harsh. But I think his time's up. But I wish him all the best. And I'll always remember that goal he scored, because it was a good goal.
Aye, of course, James. We're having a bit of tongue in cheek here with him and all that. He does go with our best wishes. I just think what it says that in that position, especially attacking midfielder, we do need better with that. So the next player, I think we can just pass on him pretty quickly because I think the manager's made the decision for us is young Sam Lammers. Port Bear, I think his decision's been made for him.
It's done. Over and done. Just easy to say, mate. Done. And the way I think his first game for Utrecht, I seen the Dutch press raving about how he played for them and seeing when they're already making moves to try and get the deal done. So goes with my best wishes, mate. Just Scotland wasn't for Sam Lammers, which is strange because Dutch guys usually do well in Scotland.
Yep. JM, happy the manager made the decision for us.
It's very rare, as football fans, it's very rare. It always frustrating that managers can't see what the fans are seeing, but at least he was on the same hymn sheet there, wasn't he? Just get rid of it. Wasn't for whatever reason, it's just not clicked, probably just not at the level, and maybe not, and obviously maybe just not enjoying it himself, had a bad start and can't maybe shake it. You know what I mean? Probably just best for all that somehow we can arrange to get him moved.
James, your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I saw that game he played against Utrecht, and it was actually quite good. He wasn't losing the ball. He was bringing the ball down his chest. He was turning around quicker. I said it's a different game when he's playing against a low block team in Scotland. But I think he wasn't happy. I think if they're not happy and he wants to go, and let him go.
Stuff. Ravi Matondo. Port Bear.
Obviously, I've seen some improvement. Even before Michael Beale went, he started to make a wee bit of sort of impact in the game. Scored a couple of goals. He just got back into the team there. Got a decent goal against Copenhagen. Nice finish. But just before it, we've seen sort of another flash of the Ravi Matondo when he goes through and messes the whole shot up. You know what I mean? So. Is Ravi Matondo the level we need to take us to that next rung in the ladder? I don't think so, mate. But if you're saying get rid of Scott right, we have to keep some sort of squad player. So a squad player, an impact player for the bench, mate. Because his pace is frightening.
I'll make my answer easy and quick. I agree with Port. He'd be a good guy to bring on for that pace and power. And by the way, if Comont's developing his finishing like the other night there, and that continues, he might actually eventually be another starting 11 player. But I think he is definitely a good squad player. So I would keep the new JM.
Keep. He's got a long way to go, but keep his potential. However, I believe he's one of our higher earners. And if we're talking about Deadwood,
he's
one of our highest earners, and obviously that goes through squad. It's like any job, isn't it? Goes through squads. But if you're taking money and that out of it, with his pace and his threat as an impact player, but his wages, we're not getting the output for his wages. That's my issue with him.
Nah, that's a good point as well. James, mate, your point.
Right. I think he's got great pace. He'd be good as a squad player, but I think sometimes people get the rough end of the stick. The Morelos, I said for years, could never be a goalkeeper, run round a goalkeeper. I never saw him once do that. And he missed tons of chances. And yet some people like Dessers, okay, I don't rate Dessers, but he gets lambasted, but Morelos missed tons of chances. He could have a good round the keeper, take it to the side, not even take it to the side, use both he missed tons of chances. And because of his petulance, you're talking about Canwell. Well, look at the years he fell into the trap of being baited by Celtic players. Could none of the players have said, look, forget that guy, just let him get sent off? But it kept going on for years. So I would keep him. I would keep him as a squad player. I agree with you.
Okay, it's just staying on that side. I know he's not our player, but Seema, go to JM first.
I think that's the problem. He's too good to be our player, isn't he? I think if he keeps playing this well, in an ideal world, would keep him, but we're not going. But yes, he's one of the few that get the. He's up there. Him and Butland to having goals are the ones, and they. Yes, absolutely, 100%. If we could, we'd keep him. But unfortunately, he's not our player, is he?
No. James, your thoughts on Sima?
Yeah, I think he's a very good player. He's got some nice goals. I think he puts a lot of work into it. He's actually one of the best players I've had on loan that puts a lot of work in. I like that. Sometimes he's a wee bit awkward, but we all can be like that. I would put a bid 5 or 6 million in for him if they had the money, but no more. We'll not get any more than that, so just forget him. But I would keep him and try and buy him for 5 or 6 million, but no more than that.
Or
That's definitely the level, Gary. That's definitely the level we're looking for. What you're hoping, what I'm hoping for is he's enjoying it so much. He's getting his games that he's got his heart set on the move, because that changes things a wee bit. If he wants to join our club, then maybe Rangers can get a deal done with Brighton. But I'm like James, probably 6-7 million mark. I would bust the bank to get him, to be honest, mate, because I do think he's absolute quality. But we'll see what happens. But I'd definitely keep him.
Yep, aye, he's an easy keep for me as well. Right, we'll move to. Well, we talked about him earlier. Young Ross McCausland. JM, you go first.
I'd keep him, but he's a youngster potential. He's not, to me, I think we've got to be careful. I don't see, he's not an established first team player yet. We need to try and sign one in that position, if not another, because I don't think we still know exactly how it's going to go with him. But I'd 100% keep him. He's done all right since he's came in. He's done well for a 20-year-old, but there's a long way to go for him yet. But keep him, obviously.
Yep, I agree. I think he's got potential. I just think that we need cover in there that can maybe, that says, come on and change the game as well. James for Tennessee, mate.
Yeah, I would keep him as well. He's a good player, young player, full of enthusiasm. I saw his defensive part the other day was quite good. I think you've got to have 2 players for each position and get another player to work with, and they compete for the position. You're competing for the position with the other player, and they would bring in someone else or get someone else to compete with them so they can work hard to be in the team.
Well said, mate. Well said. Port Bear.
He's 100% keep for me, mate. I'm like JM. He's got a long way to go before I say he's an absolute first team starter. I still think he's got, as what James said, going back the way, I still think he needs a lot of improving to cover Tav, because I think he's restricted the captain in a lot of games recently. If you watch it, Tav's more or less staying back, and McCausland's been the main threat doing that right hand side. So I think he's got a long way to go. If you look at Seaman on the other side covering for Red Fan, Auburn, he's been covering for Borna. I think Ross has to get to that level where he's covering and doing the dirty side of the game, the defensive side of the game, mate. But potential's there, but let's not put too much pressure on the wee man. I'd like to see another right-sided player come in, definitely.
I agree, mate. Agree. Back to you again, Port. Kieran Dow. Another kind of up and down player for me. I'll listen to all your points first and see where my decision goes. Port, you go first.
I'm going to go with another one, mate. Again, I can see quality in his game. I can lovely left foot. But we've got too many players that want to play in that sort of midfield, sort of number 10 role. Not seeing enough for him, mate, if I'm totally honest. But again, he's on a decent wage, so I think again let him go back down to England, back to the Championship. Just a couple of losses, I think, mate, because I just can't see him being a mainstay and having a massive impact in our club at all, mate.
JM?
It's a tough one on being fair on the bloke, because when he did get given a chance by Clermont, he didn't hide and he went for it, didn't he? He played some really, played some good games, some nice stuff, scored a goal, some nice, passes or whatever, knocked it about. But he came up with not the best injury record, and he's not proven anyone any differently, hasn't he? And like Port said, he'd be on a big wage. So if we're not going to get that, if we're going to get this constantly from him, I think we've got to try and offload some wages and just say, thanks for your try, mate, but see you later.
All right. Yep. James?
Very unlucky with his latest injury. I think he's been injury prone in his career, so I think they need to go for young players about the 20, 23-year-olds so that not get so many injuries. Because football, you do get injuries all the time. It's a physical sport, so I would say let him move on with him because they really need to get rid of players. I wouldn't sign anyone with a bad injury because it's too tough a league, and it's not doing the club or the player any good. Because even the Commodity Ruth, he was the guy. Well, are you going to talk about him actually, Ruth? Is he coming up soon?
Oh, we're nearly at the forwards, mate. You've touched on Dessers as well, so we'll be ready to get them into it, mate.
I'll talk about Ruth when they come up then. But they need players that are young, athletic, they can work fast. Matondo, Sima, no slow. Shanklin's going to be a slower player, but he's going to get in the box. He's going to be the Gert Muller of the Rangers. The guy can finish, and that's what we need.
That's it. Right. Okay, since you brought him up, we'll just go straight in him then. James, you can come back in. Kemar Ruth.
Well, I think when we signed him, I was on Rangers Radio. I said he's got too many injuries, and then they said no, he can go overcome it. I said no, he's got too many injuries, and I was right. I was wrong about Kaba of Mitterland. I was wrong with that, but I've been 90% right. A few wrongs. So.
Cool. Right, okay, I'll go HIM next.
Yeah, it was time. Too much money on a player that can't play. Unlucky because no doubt he's a goal scorer. What I will say, if we're looking at value for money, that goal for the Europa League and other goals he scored for us in Europe, he's probably just about paid for himself. We've maybe not made a loss on him if you talk about what some of his goals have meant, but we're still going to get rid of it. He's not reliable and is a striker. We're a striker that we can play week in, week out. So, yes, he's got to go, unfortunately.
What bear?
Arguably still the best striker at the club. Is that fair? I would say is. Like Giant touched on, gave us some wonderful moments in a Rangers jersey. The goal for the halfway line, etc. So, undoubted quality, undoubted knows where the net is. But you can't keep yourself fit. And you seen when that last injury got how frustrated he was with his own body. He could do the tunnel, didn't look at the manager, just kicked everyone all over the place. So that sort of tells you where his head's at. Guy wants to be on the pitch, guy wants to score goals, but his body's not allowing him. So unfortunately, there's a couple of losses, guys, and like Giant touched on, I think he's one player that we've had, money's worth out of, in my opinion.
Aye, it definitely goes with best wishes. Unfortunately, like he says, it's just, I don't think it's any fault of his own sometimes. I think it's just his body. You touched on Port, it's just let him down. But in big moments, that boy can put goals away for us. I just wish we could have got him when he was, 21-year-old and fit and well. I mean, it's got to be one of the players, like I says, that will probably pop up in the reel and score the goals. And you're like, how many games did he actually play for us? I mean, it'll be one of the type of players. But sadly, he needs to go after the contract's up in the summer. Right, we'll move quickly on to Dessers. James for Tennessee, on you go, mate.
Well, Dessers very slow against Celtic. He didn't get in front of the defender. It was coming back. Johnston, who is a very dirty player, he was in Nashville, him, by the way. I'm surprised how he never gets sent off because he likes to really sort us out when we play him. So next game, I hope we have someone that will match him. I think he's trying harder. Maybe we'll probably spent a lot of money, maybe a backup, unless the manager feels that we can get somebody else on. I don't know who they're going to buy. I can suggest guys, but they don't normally do what I say. But I would have him as a backup. He is making an effort, right enough, and I liked his goal the other night, and etc. He sometimes can get round a goalkeeper right enough, not like Morelos, but and he brought the ball down really nice, but had a bad shot. If he'd have scored with that might have. You never know. The confidence, if they get 2 goals, you never know. He might turn into be like a Mark Haley. You never know, like people, maybe another season he might come good, but I would keep him unless the manager wants to move him on.
JM?
I would try and shift him up. He's cursed, isn't he? He's just unlucky. He's just cursed, isn't he? You can't rely on him. I know what James is saying. Alfie wasn't a natural finisher, but he scored goals, didn't he? And he annoyed defences and he held up the play and he linked play. And we still haven't replaced Morelos, even from that last year when he was injured and weren't playing us. We've still not replaced Morelos. Whereas his hold up plays average he's not the quickest. He's not a natural finisher. Like I said, not a bad touch, but it's just a lottery with him, isn't it? I mean, if he is going to be kept, he needs to be demoted to 3rd choice minimum, doesn't he? But that'd be me. That's it. If he's kept it, but he'll be on money. We spent money on him, but that's the only way I can see him being kept. If he's kept his 3rd or 4th choice.
I think if he was the type of guy that would be quite happy to be a kind of, like you say, as a 3rd choice striker, then I would keep him definitely. Port Bear, your thoughts on him, mate?
Oh, he's becoming a bit of a cartoon character, mate, if I'm totally honest. I think he's one thing you must have is at any level of football, is a touch. And I think he couldn't hit a bag of touches, mate, if I'm totally honest. Everything bounces off him. His hold up play for a big lump of a guy, absolutely non-existent. He's full of endeavour and he runs his heart out, and we've seen some, moments of magic for him. We go against Batiste, which is superb, but then you see the comedy things coming out. Like when he scored that goal against Copenhagen the other night, everybody thought he had a great touch out there, but never hit the Copenhagen defender and felt nice for him, and he missed. So then that's again, you're sitting, you're laughing at your own players, you know what I mean? Take me go, mate, take me go.
No, I agree. Other striker, Danilo?
I think he's slow. But again, mate, injuries, he's got a bad injury to his knee, so does he fall into the same bracket but as Lammers and Dessers? Is it another poor buy in my forward line? Time will tell, mate, time will tell. Jury's out for me.
Sure. Well, I'll just cut across you, sorry, I've been called, join me on our call. I think it's your Blue Star. How you doing, Blue Star?
Evening, GB, JM, Port, and James for Tennessee. Just listening to these guys going through the players. I need to ask you one question. Do you think our board's been fair with our manager?
I'm glad you brought that point up, because once we were finished with the squad, Blue Star, I was actually going to ask the boys that. I was going to say to them, like, is it about time now, since the manager's done so well, is it about time they step up the mark and reward them and push on and try and help them win this league? Blue Star, your thoughts just initially, and then I'll take it around the boys, mate.
You're going through player to player there. My honest, overwhelming opinion, and it's no, it might sound to be negative, but I honestly, and I call it as I see it, I don't see us any better at all. Yes, we've won a cup. In my opinion, we won the cup because we never had to play them. I certainly haven't seen us playing any better against them. Granted, our present manager's only played them once. We created 4 good chances in the first half, and the telling aspect was there's nobody there to put the ball in the net. You're on about Dessers, Danilo there. Dessers, quite frankly, you can't possibly keep him. He's in far, far too big a wage. He's contributing very little. He can't trap a ball. His touch is diabolical. He can't header a ball. I get told on here for the start of the season that he was a good big target man. No, he's nowhere near it. He's certainly not a goal scorer. Danilo's the same. Certainly runs about. He gave us plenty of movement up front. The best game I watched for a forward line was when we were playing against St Johnstone. It was Danilo and Roof up front. The two of them were amazing together. But we're not paying that kind of money for a guy to run about unless he's putting the ball in it. And I just don't see anybody there that can put the ball in it. And that's why I'm asking the question, are they being fair to our manager? I mean, the galling thing for me is the first interview to Rangers TV for the guy Silva, when she says to him, and do you expect to score a certain number of goals? And his exact answer in perfect English was, I'm not a goal scorer. I'm not here to score goals. I assist. I like to assist. That didn't take me aback. That nearly put me flat on my back. We don't need an assist. We need a guy to put the ball in it. And MD with any common sense can see that. So I'm asking the question, why have we not brought one in? It's the one area of the team that we're crying out for a goal scorer, and we don't have one.
I agree. Port Bear, the way the transfer window's been going, it's been looking that kind of way where the managers had to, like, one out, one in. But the way it's kind of worked out with Silva, it's Silva in and then Lammers out. So do you think that's going to be the way it's going to have to work? That we're going to have to get, maybe, is it the way it's looking, Ridvan out and then another left back in? Or what do you think? What's going on? Like Blue Star says, is it just the board have just got to step up now?
I touched on it at the start of the show. Should me and JM are sort of saying the same thing. I think Philip Clement's held his end of the bargain up. He's got him a trophy. He's got him in the last 16 of Europe. So I think they've got to back their manager because, like I said earlier on, mate, the squad needs help to move on to this next step. And in regards to transfers, I don't know what the hold-up is, but I'd like to believe there was some things close. But, you know, other teams move, you know, during the night as well, because obviously all different days world. And we'd like to believe that some of the ones that are close are nowhere near because they're looking at other clubs now. So, but like Blue Star's touching on, there's one guy, it's number 9, who plays for Hearts, mate, and he plays Marine Country, and he's a Blue Nose, and he's desperate to come to our club, I believe. So, like Blue Star's probably hinting on why the hold up with this. Unless the manager doesn't fancy him, that's the only way I can see that deal's not getting done. Unless the manager's got somebody in mind and he doesn't fancy Shankland to be part of his squad and part of his setup. That's the only thing I can see in the stumbling block in that transfer, because it's hitting us all right in the nose. Any decent striker worth his salt, with the amount of chances that Rangers will create you, will score 25 a season. And Shankland would do that, mate. Maybe 30, 35. So I don't know what the hell does with Shankland unless the manager doesn't fancy him.
JM, you want to take Blue Star's point as well, mate?
Yeah, I just think the problem is we're going to be paying that until we can offload maybe some of these people that go on a free transfer that we can let go in the summer. We're going to be paying the price for showing some blind faith in Michael Beale for another couple of years, unfortunately. I think that's the sad case. I don't think we're in a visit where we can go and get him, the manager, half a dozen top quality players that we need to get better. We all know we need to get better. But it's going to be the case of maybe picking one or two a window. And if that is Shankland, which maybe I think it is this window, then yes. But the problem is teams also know we're desperate as well. And we are desperate for players, aren't we? This is the problem. We're not in a negotiating stage. We are. We need to improve our squad. We've gone through it here. So I think we spent a lot of money in the summer and we're going to be paying for it for still another couple of seasons.
Possible, mate. James for Tennessee, mate, you want to take up Blue Star's point as well, please?
Yeah, first of all, Blue Star, how's your mother doing?
She's no great, James, but thanks for asking.
Oh, well, I hope she's feeling better. I always ask about her. Blue Star is one of my favourite. Comes on the show. In fact, what I would suggest to Hawkschair is give Blue Star a place in the panel, make it 4, because Blue Star would get in the people coming on. But I agree with Blue Stars, right? We've really not done that great. We've won a cup, and we've really got to win the league. I would give, if they've got the money, and that's a big question, 10 million to the manager and say, there's 10 million, get 3 players and make sure Shankland's one of them. And because they gave it to Beale, and they've got a better manager now, much better than Beale, who knows the game. His man management with the players are excellent. He talks to them, comes off the park, will give them a hug, and etc. He's really good. The players are really seem to be playing for him. So I'd agree with what Blue Star is spot on there. But we really need to do better. We need to get a finisher like Shankland to score goals. So I would play up to 4 million for Shankland, but the supporters, if he doesn't do it, the supporters shouldn't come on. The board have given the team money. So 10 million on 3 players.
GB, can I come in there?
I was going to come back to you, but it was just I was just going to touch on what James was saying there. Do you think? I mean, it's all right saying going out and spend 4 million, but do you think it's because of all this kind of financial fair play and all the rest of it that we've just got to watch what we're doing? We've got to get players away on loans so that we can reinvest that money in maybe a striker.
Yeah, but
the last time I was on, I did mention the financial fair play thing, because I mean, to be fair to Ox is always mentioning it, but seemingly the word that is coming out, Ibrox, that's not the case. That the so-called wage bill is miles too high. We all know that, but for the product on the park, we're not seeing anything like what we should be. And on that, where the enigma is for me, I cannot comprehend. You've got Yilmaz there and you've got Barisic. Now, the manager reiterated there after that last game there, in his presser after the game, and he says, I want 2 players for every position. Now, nobody on this show or any other show automatically thought a left back would be leaving in this window until all of a sudden an offer came in for a certain team. My argument to that would be, Yilmaz has actually been coming on to a game, as we all know. For me, he was man of the match the other night for the half that he was on. Certainly no Dessers for his goal. That was just laughable. But I mean, you're looking at it and you're saying, well, that is not a needy part of our team. Certainly not in the last 6 months of this season. We need a hitman. We need a centre midfielder that can control a game. I know we're not going to get one of them in this one day, but we could certainly have done with an outside right, because the managers tell us time and time again he can't play McCausland 3 games in a week. He'd no intentions of doing it. He'd done it through sheer necessity because Wright was injured. So the 2 main positions for me was outside right and striker. He brings in Silva simply, we also was to cover for Seamer because he could be away up to 8 weeks. So for me, he hasn't brought in a goal getter. So it's plainly obvious. Either the money is mega tight. If it is, I don't understand why, because they shouldn't have been building Edmondson House, etc., until you've got a team in the park. That's only my opinion. But you can't bring in a new manager and then turn around and tell him he's only getting, say, 2 million in the January transfer one day. That's just nonsensical. You're not showing any faith in the guy whatsoever, especially when he's getting your results. So he push on for the rest of the season. We're all the same opinion. It's a necessity that we bring in a hat man. I just don't get it, guys. I don't.
I think if the way it's going to go so far with the transfer window and what Blue Star's touching on is that if we're going to give the manager something, we give him not so much his top target, but we give him a goal scorer. We give him something that's going to seriously improve that squad. If it's only one player that comes in, let's make sure that it's a player that's going to definitely improve us. JM?
Well, here's one for you, JB. See the last Old Firm game? We all know that in that first half, we could have been in at the very least drawn, but more than probably if we'd have had a hitman in the park, we'd have been in at least 1 goal in front, if not 2 up. So going into this one day, you're saying to yourself, it's got to be a hitman. Now, if we don't bring in a striker, therein, where lies the difference going into the rest of this season? Because we're still in the same boat. Because under no circumstances is Silver a number 9 as in a goal scorer. You've seen where he's taking up positions. He's playing like Cantwell. He likes to get the ball in the middle of the park and run. But he's certainly not a hitman. So for me, we're still crying out for that goal scorer. Mm-hmm. And it means we could be going into the second half of the season in the same boat as what we were going into the window. So I just don't get it.
JM, Bud, do you want to come in?
Yeah, no, we need a well, it's hard to they're not exactly cheap to get, but we need a natural goal scorer, someone who's going to contribute more goals. I mean, that's a given. Nobody's consistently doing enough. Seamer had a little spell for us, but then he went 6 or 7 games without a goal. That's how it's going to be in his position. We desperately need a striker, and the obvious one is Shanklin. But like I said, Hearts know we are desperate for him, and they're in a financial position for their size of club where they don't need to sell him. So has he got another target to manager, or like Port says, maybe the manager's not interested in Shanklin and we're all trying to sign him for us? We don't know.
That's the thing, Port, isn't it? The Shanklin thing, all the speculations all came from the fans. It's no, I think even the Hearts CEO came out today and says that there's no been any formal approach for Shanklin at all. So that to me was a kind of worry, because I'm like, well, why would somebody not even look at a guy like Shanklin? Why would we know? The contract that he still owns is long, but like you said earlier, Port, why not just go and test the resolve?
That's what I thought would have happened, mate, the first week of the transfer window opening. I said it on the show. I said, look, Rangers should go and test the resolve, unsettle him, get his heat turned, whatever way you want to describe it, and see how the land lies. Because if you unsettle him, he starts putting transfer requests in. Hearts don't want that because it upsets their whole team. I don't care. So, that's what I thought might have happened if the Rangers were so desperate to get him. And this is what's making me think that, maybe the manager doesn't fancy him. Maybe he doesn't fit into your style of play. And I did mention this. Remember, he's one paced. Great finisher. Great penalty box striker. Absolutely outstanding. But maybe he doesn't suit the pressing game that Philip Clement likes to see his Rangers number 9 doing, because he expects a lot of work out of Rangers number 9.
Paul, is it not fair to say that, and I get your rationale, is it not fair to say then he's got more pace, he's got more body strength, he's certainly more a goal scorer than the likes of Dessers, and you've also got, we're forgetting too, we've also got 2 bargaining tools there to go with Hearts. You've got Suter that you could make part of a deal, and you've got Lowry. So it's not just straight down to the cash. I mean, Suter was their captain, and they didn't want Suter to leave, as you all know. So the very fact that they've not even tested the water, you're probably right. Maybe it is Clement just doesn't fancy him. But if that's the case, he promised us 3 weeks ago. That was the first player he said he was bringing in was a number 9 now. With all intents and purposes, that is certainly no Silver, because he's not a goal scorer. Never has been. So for me, that's a left winger like a Seamer. Yes, he might contribute with a few goals, but he's not a hit man, and that's what we're crying out for. And if we're going to wait till the summer, then I'm sorry, guys, I'm saying it. That's not going to win us a league, and that's what we're desperate for. Therefore, it makes sense to me, speculate to accumulate, bring in the hit man that's going to get you goals. Because we know we're more than good enough to beat all the rest of the teams in our league, even with a bad team as we've done in the past. So it's about putting the ball in the net, and that's what wins you games. And we don't have MD.
Or come back in, mate.
I get what you're saying, Blue Star. As I said, I said if we were going to do it, I thought it would be the first week, and like the old way we used to do it, we used to go and buy the best in Scotland. That was always a thing Rangers did. But the best that there was in Scotland, and they always done it quick. So that's just making me think. And remember, like JM says, Hearts all the aces here, they're sitting at this poker table and they're going, right, we're ready and waiting for you. You're going to pay through the nose for them. And traditionally, January transfer market is a nightmare, because everybody who's wanting to either stay in a league, so not get relegated, or finish in a top 4 for European positions, or win the leagues, they're not selling number 9s, mate. they're not selling number 9, so arguably it's probably the most difficult time to get a hitman that you're asking for.
Absolutely, I agree with everything you're saying, but surely, even a so-called appease the fans, if you don't get them, you don't get them. But surely you've got to put it out there that you've tried. As I say, you've got caveats there. If they're trying to finish higher up the league, etc., I get all that, but you can caveat with the likes of Lowry, and you've got Cifuentes, so they could be part of a deal. I just think we should be making an effort.
Just one at a time. JM, you come in first, mate.
I mean, Lowry's not playing for them much, is he? And so, I mean, I think we'd have to pay Hearts to take the pair of them offers. I don't think they're bargaining chips, are they? Suter's not kicking the ball, and Lowry's hardly played for them. If we're thinking about how to negotiate with Hearts, I don't think that's going to work, is it?
We'll start on you come in, mate.
Well, I think it is, because I think you'll find if it wasn't for the wages that both Suter and Lowry are on, there's already been inquiries, certainly for Lowry. I can tell you that for fact, as there has been for a lot of our boys. But as I says the other night, the problem we have that even some of our boys in the B side are on more than half the players in our league. That's how ridiculous our wage bill is, and that's the big noose around our neck. The wage bill is spiralled out of control. And we're bringing in another guy at 20-year-old, and you're paying him the money that you're paying him when he's not even our player for 6 months. That's why I'm saying it's nonsensical to me, but it's only a matter of opinion. I would rather us spending money and bringing in a guy that wants to play for us, knows our league, and he's already proved his point. We're scoring against us and every other team in the league. So I just can't get the rationale here. I just can't, guys.
No, I get you. There's a lot in the same boat, Bluestar. Right, guys, just to keep an eye on the time, we've got a couple of minutes left. James for Tennessee, just your final thoughts on what we're discussing there, mate.
Final thoughts is I would offer Malmo $1 million for Tellin, a good striker, and say to Hearts, we'll sign Tellin. We're going to offer you money for Shanklin. It's a yes or a no. 3 million, do you want it? If not, we've got Tellin. That's what I would do.
I'll do one better, James. You just go and chap their door. You just go and tell that Hearts to get that player sent across the Ibrox.
You want me to
ASAP,
fly to Edinburgh?
Of course, mate. on that plane tonight, mate.
I'm not getting the money.
Oh, we'll speak to Rangers Radio HR, mate. We'll see what we can do for you.
Right.
Blue Star, mate. Just think he's your final thoughts, bud.
I just feel, guys, for the sake of our support, we've got to be seen. It's all right, our manager coming out and saying that the hierarchy are working hard behind the scenes. Listen, that's just sound bites to us. We're only fans. We've got to be seen, and they must bring in a striker. They have to. It's as simple as that. Or I'm telling you, our fans will be in uproar, because unless this guy can go, and he has to win every game from now on, that's a big ask, even in our poor league, because the amount of injuries that we're getting game after game is criminal. As I say, for the wage bill that we're paying out, it's astronomical. It's unsustainable, actually, for the squad of players that we have. So they have to speculate. They have to bring in a hitman that's going to get us goals. But as I always say, onwards and upwards, guys, and thanks for taking my call. Great show again.
Brilliant boost that. JM, final thoughts, bud?
Yeah, great show tonight, guys. Good discussion. And I think the final thought from that is that everyone's agreed that we need to improve, even if it is that one hitman that we're looking for, or in the spine. But hopefully we can at least get in one player, hopefully 2 or 3, that's going to help us improve to the end of the season. But I think everyone's on the same page as that. But yep, let's keep going. Looking forward to Saturday.
Aye, that's it, JM. A game changer would be lovely. Port Bear, your final thoughts?
Aye, great show. JM set the heather right with his big spoon. Good debate. Everybody, mate, I think we definitely need some. I'll say it again. The squad needs help, and it needs help with quality. Man, I'd rather another central midfielder if I'm totally honest. But to get this title, we need certain players, mate, and the manager needs help, and so does the squad. So thanks for having us, mate. Great show.
Right, but right, just a big thank you to our callers, James from Tennessee, our very own Blue Star. A big thanks to the techie team, Fox and Old School Blue in the background. Like I says, that new jingle is definitely going to be a hit. Ox on the phones tonight, and a big thanks to you two, JM and Port. Again, my two wingmen tonight. Brilliant show, brilliant points, and this has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock talking about Glasgow Rangers. Good night.